checking the injective nature, in x greater than 0. For x greater than 0, the function was f of x equals to x. Okay, then how do we check the injective nature? We'll take x1 not equals to x2. Okay, then I will equate y1 is equals to y2. What is y1 here? X1 only is equals to x2. That means if I'm getting only this solution, this means it is injective. Okay, the second part is checking the injective nature in x less than 0. In x less than 0, now what I'll do, this was x greater than 0, I have checked the injective nature in this part, I will check the injective nature in this part. Now this is, suppose this part is x less than 0, I will check in this. So the function in x less than 0 becomes f of x is equals to minus x. Okay, now I'll take x1 not equals to x2. So I will equate y1 is equals to y2. So this is minus x1 is equals to minus x2. Again from here I am getting x1 is equals to x2. That means this is again injective. Okay, that means what I have checked is on the right side the function is injective in nature. If I am only talking about the domain x greater than 0. On the left side the function is again injective in nature. That is if I am only talking about the function for x less than 0, right? But just by looking at the graph, I know if I take one x from this side and another x from this side, there will be, this function will not be injective. Okay, so that means, so this was first case, both on right side, second case, both on left side. Third case will be, case 3 will be that 1x is in domain x greater than 0 and another x is in domain x less than 0. If 1x is on the right side and 1x is on the left side, so this function f of x was x and this function f of x was minus x. So I'll take x1 not equal to x2. x1 I'm taking on right side, so f y1 I have to equate with y2, so y1 will become x1 and y2 will become minus of x2. Okay, now this is a real solution other than x1 equals to x2, hence this is injective. That means if I'll take 1x from this side and I'll take another x from this side, it will, there might be an x which will give me the same solution. That is, if I'll plot this, for x is equal to 0, this is 1, this is minus 1, this is 2, this is minus 2, and so on. This is y, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So for 0, it was giving me 0. For minus 1, it was giving me 1. For minus 2, it was giving me 2, and so on. Okay, so see, one part is getting from negative and one part is getting from positive. Okay, I hope this example is clear. Using the same concept, I will solve the question which I have given you yesterday. Okay, fine. So the function the previous question was, the function was given as f such that R2 x r such that minus 1 x less than 1. Okay, so the function is given from real numbers, the function is given from, or the mapping is given from real numbers to this set. Okay, so this set becomes the codomain. So this set becomes the codomain. And this is what? This is the domain. Okay, from R to this set. So this set becomes the domain, this set becomes the codomain. Okay, now what they have asked, they have to find the injective nature and the surjective nature. Okay, so injective nature, so to find the injective nature, to first we'll find the injective nature of the curve or mapping. So we'll take again the function into three parts. First is, we'll divide the domain into three parts. First is x is greater than 0. Second is x equal to 0. And third is x less than 0. Okay. For x greater than 0, the function becomes f of x equals to x upon 1 plus x. For x is equal to 0, f of x becomes equal to 0. And for x less than 0, f of x was equals to x upon 1 minus x. The original function given was x upon 1 plus mod x. This was our original function. Okay. Now in the previous example, what I did, I took first case 1. So first was case 1. Case 1 was when x1 and x2 are both greater than 0. If x1 and x2 are both greater than 0, that means the function will be of this kind. So x1 not equals to x2. I will find y1 equals to y2. Y1 will be when I substitute x1 here. So it will become x1 upon 1 plus x1 equals to x2 upon 1 plus x2. When I cross multiply and when I'll solve this, I will get the solution x1 is equals to x2. If I'm getting only this, that means this is injective. Okay. Now this was case 1. I'll take case 2. That means by this case 1 means on the right side, that means for x greater than 0, the function is injective. Okay. So I do not have to I do not have to check for right side. Okay. Now for case 2, I will check x1 and x2 is less than 0. For x1 and x2 is less than 0. If x1 and x2 is less than 0, the function will become of this kind. So this will be f of x will be x upon 1 minus x. So I will substitute x1 not equals to x2 and I will substitute y1 is equals to y2. Y1 will be what? When I'll substitute x1 here. So this is x1 upon 1 minus x1 equals to x2 upon 1 minus x2. Again, if I solve this, I will get the same result, that is x1 is equals to x2. If I'm getting only this solution, that means this is again injective. Okay, till here I hope everything is okay. Till here I hope everything is okay. What does these two cases mean? This case means on the right side for x greater than 0, the function is injective. On the left side, that is x less than 0, function is injective. Okay, similar to the previous case. On the right side, the function is injective. On the left side, the function is injective. Now, what I have to check is that if x1, if one of the x1 is less than 0 and x2 is greater than 0. So this is case 3. One of the x1 is less than 0 and x2 is greater than 0. Now, to solve it using x1 and x2, what I can do is I can just check the sign of y. So x1, I can get y1 using x1. So y1 will be from this part. So this will be x1 upon 1 minus x1. And y2 will be x2 upon 1 plus x2. Now, look at the numerator and the denominator of both y1 and y2. Y1 numerator is negative. Okay. And the denominator is positive. My numerator is negative and the denominator is positive. Okay. So the overall sign of y1 becomes, so y1 will always be less than 0. So in this case, y1 will always be less than 0. Okay. Fine. In second case, when x2 is greater than 0, let's look at the numerator. Numerator is positive. Okay. And the denominator is also positive. So overall sign of y2 will always be greater than 0. Okay. Why I didn't check this part? Why I didn't check this part in these cases? By for x1 and x2 both positive, these y1 and y2 will all be positive. So using the sign, I cannot say that y1 is not equals to y2. In this case, y1 and y2 both will be negative because x is negative. So in both the sign is same, so I cannot just check. In this case, the sign is coming out to be opposite. If one side it is negative and other side it is positive, can I equate these two? No, I cannot equate y1 and y2. So that means if I'll take 1x from left side and 1x from the right side, if I'll substitute those x in the function, I will never get those two values equal. If I'm not getting two values equal, that means this function is injective. Injective if x1 and x2 are of opposite sign. Are of opposite signs. Okay, so that means case 1 right side, case 2 left side, case 3 on opposite side. In all the three cases, the function is coming out to be injective individually. So if the function is coming out to be injective individually, that means overall the function is injective in nature. That means 1-1 in nature. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Now we'll move on to the surjective. First, I want you to copy or just check it. If you're not able to understand, I'll take it out in the last part. See, in third case, I will explain once again. In case 1, I hope you understood. In case 2, you understood. Okay. Third case is what? When one in this, see, in the previous example, when both were on the right side, when both were on the left side, these were injective. Okay. Now see, when I'm taking that one x is on this part and other x is on this part. So one x is on this part, I have taken x1 is greater than 0. X is greater than 0 and another x is less than 0. So I'll just substitute those in functions. So this will become x1 is equals to minus of x2. So this is a real solution other than x1 is equals to x2. So that means this is not an injective function. That means minus 1, minus 2, minus 1 and minus plus 1 are linked with 1, minus 2 and 2 are linked with 1. So overall this function is not injective. Okay. Now in this case also what I'm doing, for x greater than 0 I have checked. For x less than 0 I have checked. Means both the x are less than 0 and both the x is greater than 0. Now I just have to check that whether one x is on the left side and other x is on the right side, or vice versa. One of the x is on the right side and one of the x is on the left side. So I know that the right side, this is the right side, the x greater than 0, the function is this. On the right side for x greater than 0, the function is this. So for x2 greater than 0, I will substitute the value of x2 in this. For x1 less than 0, I will substitute the value in this. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will check whether y1 is equals to y2. I will check whether y1 is equals to y2. This is what I was doing. y1 is equals to y2. y1 is equals to y2, right? And then I was checking the solution. Now in this case, y1 was negative and y2 was coming out to be positive for all the cases. For all x2 greater than 0, y2 was positive, and for x1 less than 0, y1 was negative. If this is the case, can y1 ever be equals to y2? No, but I cannot equate negative quantity with positive quantity. But can minus 2, can you write minus 2 is equals to 2? No, this is not true. Minus 2 is never equal to 2. So that means on the left side, y is less than 0, and on the right side, y is greater than 0. If y is less than 0 on the left side, and y is greater than 0 on the right side, then can these be equal? No. By on the left side it is opposite sign and on the right side it is of opposite sign. So these two cannot be equal. So that means y1 cannot be equals to y2. In this case I have taken y1 negative. So y1 and y2. So that means y1 is never equals to y2. That means they are injective in nature. Injective in nature. That is what we did in the third case. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Fine. So this was for injective nature. This was for injective nature. Now what I'll do, I will check for surjective nature. Surjective nature of the curve, of the mapping. Okay, now the function, the mapping they have given codomain as, codomain they have given from -1 to 1. Codomain they have given from -1 to 1. That is y belongs to -1 to 1. Okay, so what I will do, I will take right hand side and left hand side, and I will take the union of that. Whatever I am getting the range on the right hand side, and whatever I am getting a range on the left hand side, I will take the union of that. Okay, so on the right hand side, that is for domain x greater than 0. On the right hand side, that is domain x greater than 0, I was getting the function as y is equals to x upon 1 plus x. Y is equals to x upon 1 plus x. Now let's look at what we are getting here. Okay, let's look at what we are getting here. Okay, now see, if I have 1 by 2, this value will lie in which part? This value will be less than 1 and greater than 0. This value will belong to an interval 0 to 1. Okay, if I'll write 2 by 3, this value will belong to 1 and 0 and 1. Okay, this will never be equals to 1 and it will always be greater than 0. Any value in which numerator is greater than denominator. Numerator and denominator. If numerator is less than denominator, that means this whole part will lie between 0 to 1, considering that both are positive. Numerator is positive and denominator is positive. Both will lie in between 0 to 1. Okay. Here what I have taken, that x is greater than 0. In this case also, x will always be less than 1 plus x. By x positive will always be less than 1 plus x positive, because both are positive values. So this numerator will always be less than denominator. That means numerator will always be less than denominator. If numerator is always less than denominator, then y will always lie in which interval? 0 to 1. Right, this is okay. If numerator is less than denominator, then y will always lie between 0 to 1. This is on which side? This is on the right side of the domain. That is x greater than 0. Okay. Now I'll check for the left side of the domain. Left side of domain. That is when x is less than 0. Now when x is less than 0, the function got converted into y is equals to x upon 1 minus x. The function got converted into y is equals to x upon 1 minus x. Okay, now see, x is less than 0. X is less than 0. Now basically substitute the value of x as, I'm just taking an example, substitute the value of x as minus of 2. If x is equals to minus of 2, in numerator I will get minus 2, and in the denominator I will get 1 minus of minus 2, that is minus of 2 upon 1 plus 2, right? So this will become minus of 2 by 3, minus of 2 by 3. Now if I just forget about this negative sign, whatever value I will put at x here, suppose I have substituted x as minus 3, so this will become 3 upon 4 with a minus sign. If I substitute x is equals to minus 4, this will become minus of 4 by 5. If I substitute x is equals to minus 5, this will become minus of 5 by 6, and so on. If I forget about this minus sign, again the value here will always lie between 0 to 1. Along with the minus sign, if I take the minus sign also, this value will always lie in an interval. This value will always lie in an interval minus 1 to 0. this value will always lie in the interval -1 to 0. Okay, understood. Now on the right side, the value of y was always lying between interval 0 to 1. On the left side, the value of y is always lying in the interval -1 to 0. Okay, so on the right side, for x greater than 0, y belongs to 0 to 1. This is the part which I have written. For x less than 0, y belongs to -1 to 0. Okay, now these are the two interval I'm taking, but one thing is missing. Which part is missing? When x is equal to 0. When x was equal to 0, what will be the value of y? Y will be equal to 0. If I take the union of all three, what will I get? Y belongs to -1, 0, union 0, union 0, 0 to 1. So this complete thing will become -1 to 1. This is the range of this function. In three different parts I've taken the union, so this becomes the range of this function. If this is the range and this is the codomain, is range equals to codomain? So range equals to codomain. That means this is a surjective in nature. Surjective in nature. I hope this is okay. Just look at it. If you are not able to understand any part, I will explain it once again. बच्चे 1/0.5 तो कभी हो ही नहीं सकता ना. It will never be 1/0.5 because denominator will always get added up because the original function was x upon 1 plus mod x. So no matter what value of x will be, it will always get added up with 1. So always denominator in magnitude will always be greater than the numerator in both the cases. I hope this the solution is okay. If it is okay, just reply and I'll move on to the next question. Okay. Fine. See, when I was solving, I got for x greater than 0. For x greater than 0, I was getting y belongs to 0 to 1. For x equal to 0, I was getting y is equal to 0. And x less than 0, I was getting y belongs to -1 to 0. Now, I have to take the union of this. To check this, to how we are taking a union of this, I'll take an example. Suppose simply I'm taking the curve y is equals to x. Y is equals to x. Okay. So y is equals to x on the right side and left side. This is y. This is minus y. Positive y means positive y and negative y. So what I'm taking three different parts. For x greater than 0. For x greater than 0, y is lying between which interval? Y is lying from 0 to infinity. But this is okay. For x greater than 0, this is lying between 0 to infinity. Okay. For x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. And for x less than 0, y is lying between minus infinity to 0. Okay. So see, we have three different range. For x greater than 0, for x is equal to 0, and for x less than 0. So if when I'll take the union of all these three, this will become minus infinity to 0, union 0, union 0, 0 to infinity. If I take the union, this will become minus infinity to infinity, which is actually the range of y is equals to x, Okay. Similar thing I'm doing here. So for x greater than 0, y belongs to 0 to 1. For x less than 0, y belongs to -1 to 0. And for x equal to 0, y is equal to 0. If I take the union of all these three parts, what will I get? that y belongs to -1 to 0 union 0 union 0 to 1. So this becomes y belongs to -1 to 1. And this was the codomain. And this from here I'm getting this is a range and the given codomain. So that means this is surjective in nature. Fine. That is why I'm getting the surjective nature proof. Okay. Just look at it and then we move on to the next question. Fine. Okay. Now let's look at the next question. This question is from your CBSE books, NCERT books. Let's check. So show that functions such that n from natural number to a natural number. Now again, function from natural number to a natural number defined by f of n is equals to n plus 1 by 2 if n is odd and n by 2 if n is even. Is many one and onto. You have to prove that this function, this mapping which is given is many one and onto in nature. Okay, fine. I'll give you 5 minutes. Just check. Same question. Again, you have to divide the domain into two parts. One is odd, one is even. First take two for this one separately, and then combine. Okay, now see, again to solve this question, now because this is divided, the domain is divided again into odds and evens, I will solve this function, I will solve the many one and onto nature of this function, this mapping using division of the domain. Okay, so I'll solve first injective nature, okay, that is many one or one nature using division of domain. So domain is divided into two parts. Domain is divided into two parts. First is when x is odd and second is when x is even. Okay, now it is very important for you to always remember how to write if in any question in maths or in even in physics or chemistry, any question if it comes and they are saying that x is a number which is odd, then you can always take x as the form of 2n plus 1. Okay, either you can take 2n plus 1 or 2n minus 1 depending on a particular question. Okay, both are okay. If it is an even form, then you can always take x as of the form of 2n, where in both the cases n belongs to natural numbers. Where in both the cases n belongs to natural number. Why am I taking this as a natural number? Because function is from natural to natural. Okay, the function is from so in this case n belongs to whole number, because in this 1 you will get when n is equals to 0. So in this case it is a whole number, but in this case if it is even, it will be natural number because n is starting from 1. Okay, so this will take values 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. This will take value because this is whole number. This will take value from 1, 3, 5 and so on. Okay, fine. This part you have to remember for all the question in maths. If it is natural, odd and even, you always take the number to be this part. Okay, so for x to be odd, I'm taking x1 is not equals to x2. I'm taking x1 and x2 both as a number which are odd. Okay, so x1 will be of the form of 2n1 plus 1 and x2 will be of the form of 2n2 plus 1. Okay, for x1 2n plus 1, 2n1 plus 1 and x2 will be 2n2 plus 1. For example, I'm taking an example. Suppose x1 I'm taking as 5, x1 I'm taking as 5. So what will n1 become? N1 will become 2. If x1 is equals to 5, then n1 will become 2. If x2 I'm taking as 7, then what will n2 become? 3. Okay, so according to the odd number which we have taken, we will get two different values of n1 and n2. Fine. Okay, now to check whether this is injective or not, I will take y1, substitute y1 is equals to y2. What will be y1? If n is odd, this will be y1, this will be the function y. So I will substitute, instead of n, I will substitute 2n1 plus 1 plus 1 by 2 is equals to this, in this 2n2 plus 1 plus 1 by 2. Okay, so this will become 2n1 plus 2 is equals to 2n2 plus 2. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Here 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So this becomes n1 is equals to n2. If I'm getting n1 is equals to n2, that means both the numbers are same. That means it is injective in nature. That means it is injective in nature. Okay, this was for x is equals to x belonging to odd. Now for x belonging to even, if x is belonging to even, this will be the function. Then I will take x1 is not equals to x2. x1 will be of the form of 2n1 is not equals to 2n2. So I will take y1 is equals to y2. y1 will be what? 2n1 by 2 equals to 2n2 by 2. This and 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So from here also I am getting n1 is equals to n2. That means it is injective in nature. Injective in nature. Okay, first just by looking at these two, what does these, I look at these two first. What does this and this means individually? What does this and this means individually? This and this combined means that suppose if I am taking x1 and x2, if they both are either odd or if they both are even, both x1 and x2 are either odd and x1 and x2 are even. If both are odd or even, whatever value y I am taking, they will never be equal. For example, suppose I am taking both the odd, I'm taking both numbers as odd. If I'm taking both number as odd, let's take an example. 5 and 7, just example which we took. 5 plus 1, 6 by 2. 6 by 2 will be 3. 7 plus 1 by 2. 7 plus 1 will be 8 by 2, 4. Okay. If I'm taking different, 11 and 13 or 11 and 15, 11 plus 1, 12 by 2, 6. 13 plus 1, 14 by 2, 7. So always you will get y1 not equals to y2. Okay. If I'm taking even, Suppose I'm taking n as 2, 2 by 2, 1. If I'm taking example 2 and 4, you will get 2 by 2, 1, and 4 by 2, 2. If I'm taking 4 and 8, 4 by 2, 2, and 8 by 2, 4, and so on. So you will never get y1 is equals to y1, you will never get equals to y2 in this case, and also in this case. Okay. So when the both x1 and x2 are either odd, or both x1 and x2 are even, y1 and y2 will never be equal. That means individually they will be injective in nature. Okay, fine, very good. Now, second is this was the two cases. Two cases are of similar kind. The third case will be when when x1 belongs to odd and x2 belongs to even. When x1 belongs to odd and x2 belongs to even, can there be a y which are equal? Let's see. If x1 is odd, so x1 is, I'm taking x1 not equals to x2. If x1 is odd, x1 I can write as the number. Now x1 I can write as 2n plus n1 plus 1. I can take as odd, and x2 I can write as 2n2 plus 1. Because x2 is even, so I can write as 2n2. If I am writing these two numbers, I will substitute in the function. So this is 2n1 plus 1 plus 1 by 2 equals to 2n2 by 2. Because one is even function, one is odd. I will cancel this. So this will come out to be n1 plus 1 is equals to n2. This is a different solution than the solution which we should get. That means this is not injective in nature. Okay, I'll solve this once again. I'll solve it and write it once again. Now suppose for the third case, case 3, x1 belongs to odd and x2 belongs to even. Okay, for x1 the function, for odd the function was y is equals to n plus 1 by 2, and for even the function was y is equals to n by 2. Okay, now odd numbers I can take as the form of 2n1 plus 1, and even number I can take as the form of 2n2. Okay, and I have seen that x1 is not equals to x2. Okay, then I will substitute y1 is equals to y2. What is y1? Here y1 is equals to this is x. So instead of x, I will substitute 2n1 plus 1 plus 1 by 2. This is x. Instead of y2, I will substitute 2n2 by 2. I will substitute y1 is equals to y2. So this will become 2n1 plus 1 plus 1 by 2 is equals to 2n2 by 2. This and this gets cancelled. So this becomes 2n1 plus 2 is equals to 2n2. So this will become n1 plus 1 is equals to n2. This is different solution than n1 is equals to n2. That means this is not injective or many one. This is not injective or many one. Can we take an example of this? Suppose instead of so we have to take two examples where x1 and x2. If I take x1 as 3, so this, and x2 as 4. If I take x1 as 3 and x2 as 4, even, odd, even. So for odd it will be 3 plus 1 by 2. This will become 4 by 2. This will be 2. And for x2 it will be 4 by 2, which is 2. That means y1 will be equals to y2. Hence it is not injective or it is many one in nature. Understood? Just copy this and check whether you are able to understand or not. Okay. Now, after this, we'll check whether the function is surjective or not. There are some students who must be thinking that what happens if I interchange? If x1 is even, x2 is odd. Okay. So will it make any difference? If suppose x1 is odd and x2 is even, or x1 is even, x2 is odd, will it make any difference? I will just change the name. By this will become x2. This will become x1. It is just changing the name. Right? We can just change the name. Okay. Also, logically also you can find whether it is onto or not. Well, logically also it is, you can check whether it is onto or not by substituting the values. Okay. You can find whether by substituting n is equals to n is equals to 1 and 2. You will get it is not onto, because for 1 n is equals to 1 you will get same value of y as n is equals to 2. But this is the actual mathematical proof. Also, it is better for us to get a general result than to find a particular result. Okay, we can substitute the values in all the cases. No matter what question you have been given, you can always find a counter argument by giving a particular case. Okay, but suppose a function is injective in nature. Suppose a function is injective in nature, then will you give infinite examples? Because you have to show that in all domain the function is injective, right? That means you have to give a general result, and you cannot just say that okay, for 1 2 3 4 5 it is injective, so it will be injective for all x. Understood what I'm trying to say, right? But if you have proved it using general case, then you can say because in general it is injective, so it is injective, or in general if it is not injective, then it is not injective. Okay, fine. Okay, now second part of the question was to find whether the function is surjective or not. Okay, now to find whether the function is surjective or not, the codomain of function is given as, the codomain of the function is given as natural numbers. That means this is domain, this is codomain. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and so on. Okay, I will just take the even part of the domain. Okay, so even part of the domain was 2 4 6 8 10 and so on. Okay, now if you look at the question once again, if the number is even, y is equals to n by 2. Okay, y is equals to n by 2. So if the number is even, y is equals to n by 2. So what will be 2 by 2? 1. What will be 4 by 2? 2. What will be 6 by 2? 3. 8 by 2? 4. 10 and so on. Right? That means each number of the domain is utilized. Or in other words, each element of the codomain has a preimage in domain. If each element of the codomain has its preimage, that means the range will be equals to the codomain. If the range is equals to codomain, this means this is surjective in nature. Okay, if the range is equals to codomain, this is surjective in nature. Understood? This everybody understood? Now how to prove it mathematically? This everybody understood, I hope. Now how to prove it mathematically? Now what we will do? Let's take, I know that I can prove this mathematically using the even part. Let's take x belongs to even. Okay, so x will be taken as 2n1 form, where n1 belongs to natural numbers. So y will be 2n1 by 2, which is n1. So that means y belongs to natural number. If y belongs to natural number in one part, that means the domain, the range of this function will be natural number, and the codomain is also natural number. So this and that becomes equal. So that means the complete function or the mapping becomes surjective in nature, okay, or onto in nature. So overall the function or the mapping is many-one onto, okay, not injective but surjective, okay, fine. Copy this. Okay, why we are taking only even values? Suppose what I have to show that codomain is equals to the range. Codomain is equals to the range. Okay, now see. I know that function is many-one. I know that function is many-one. What I'll do, I'll not only just positive, even I will take odd values also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Okay, now see, when n was odd or x was odd, I had x plus 1 by 2, and x was even, I had x by 2. Okay, in this n or x is just a name. So this is domain, this is range. Oh, sorry, this is codomain. Okay, this is domain, this is codomain. Take x is equals to 1. X is equals to 1. So what will you get? 1 plus 1 by 2. 1 plus 1 by 2 you will get as 1. So for 1 you are mapping with 1. Take x is equals to 2. 2 by 2, 1. Take x is equals to 3. 3 plus 1 by 2, 2. Take x is equals to 4. 4 plus 4 by 2, 2. X is equals to 3. 3 plus 1 by 2. 5 plus 1 by 2. 6 by 2, 3. And so on. That means first odd and even are mapped to 1. Second order and even are mapped to 2. Third order even are mapped to 3, and such that so on all the pairs. So either you can show by even or you can show by odd. You will always get the range as all the natural numbers. So that is why I've just shown using one part. I can also show by both, and I can say that it is union. By union of natural number, union natural number will also give natural numbers only. Na? So on the right side, I've just shown it is for even. I've shown that it is natural number for right side. So I need not to show for left side. Okay, understood. And also in question only they have given that the codomain is from natural number to natural number. That is why the codomain I have taken as natural. Okay, fine. Fine. So your homework question will be, I'll give you a homework question. You just solve this. Let f such that n union 0 to n union 0 be defined by f of n is equals to n plus 1 upon n minus 1 is if n is even, if n is odd. You have to show it is, show if it is bijective. Now what is the meaning of bijective? Bijective means injective plus surjective. Okay. After this injective and bijective nature of the question of the function, next part what we'll do the different kind of function, and we'll find the domain and range of different kind of functions. So in that, signum function, floor function, greatest integer function, and fractional part of function I will also do. Okay. So first we are just looking at the broader definition, how we are proving stuff. Then we will look at the different functions and we will also do the wavy curve and all that basic part of mathematics. Okay, so write this question. I'll solve this question in the next class, and then we'll start with different kind of function and finding a domain and range of those different kind of functions.